done so much for me, I cannot tell it all.
So I've already primed my face. That's the reason why you're seeing goldness all over. I use my e.l.f. primer. So now I'm gonna go in with my foundation. I'm using the I Am Magic Velvet Matte Foundation by Juvia'S Place, and my color is Malawi. Okay. So with this foundation, I don't really have to do much. Like, I just need a few pads, and that's it. It's full coverage, so it's really awesome. And yeah, so today I wanted to talk about the power of saying no, because when I was younger, I felt like one of the biggest things I struggled with was saying no to people, because I was so much of a people pleaser. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, so even when I didn't want to do something, I would still say yes. I just didn't know how to say no. And you know how people say the older you get, the less carefree you become? Like, if you have if you have older aunties and uncles and grandmothers, you see how free they are about what they want to say. Even my mom, the older she gets, the more blunt she becomes. You could be walking past my mother, having a conversation with her, she'd be like, girl, your breath stink. And immediately go to the restroom and brush your teeth. Like, she's just blunt. Like, there's no middle ground with her. And saying no is definitely not something that's difficult for them. I was listening to an interview, rather, by Dr. Maya Angelou, the late Maya Angelou, which was a civil rights activist. She was also a memoirist, and she was a poet. Really awesome woman. And I used to tell myself I want to see her before she passed away, but unfortunately I never got to meet her. But anyway, she was doing an interview with Oprah Winfrey on Oprah's show, and Oprah asked her this question. She said, what is one of the best advices that you've ever given? And she said, I've given two to my son when he was growing up. And the second advice she gave to him, she said there's a place within each and every one of us that we have to keep pure, that we have to guard jealously, keep it on violence. That means keep it to where nobody has access. People don't come in and just destroy it. And she talked about the art of saying no. Like, it's okay to say no. Like, when somebody wants to bring something your way that contradicts your morals and your values, it's okay to be like, no, back up. This is it. This is my limit. It's not gonna work. You will not do that to me. You will not speak to me like that. You will not treat me like that. You understand? But I feel like all of that stems from you knowing who you are. I feel like all of that, having the courage to say no and having your ground, it stems from you knowing who you are and whose you are, ultimately your identity in Christ. And just the lessons that we learn through life. I'm saying, like, nobody is an exception. Whether it's your mommy, your daddy, your sisters, your siblings, your husband, or your wife, there's a place within us that we have to say no. I've reached my limit. Like, there's no way. If we allow people to all the time cross those boundaries with us, if we allow people to just come and mess around, and we let down our guards, have no limits, no boundaries, then people are not going to have that either. And this brings me to my next topic, which I wanted to talk about, which is teaching people how to treat you. Relationship, being romantic relationship, being friendship, platonic relationship, your mommy, your daddy, whoever. It's a universal thing. You have to teach people how to treat you. How do you teach people how to treat you? By what you choose to accept and what you choose to not accept. By the choices that you make, consciously or unconsciously. These are ways that we're teaching people how to treat us. But many times when we get into, like, relationship, especially women, I have been there, done that before, where I met a guy when I was younger, and here now we're dating. And I don't know if it was excitement or rudeness, as my people would call it, rudeness that indicate you. But, like, all of my morals and my values went outside of the window because I wanted to please this one person. That's one. And number two, I didn't want them to have a particular perception. For example, let's say if you're dating, early stages of dating, and you notice that this person that you're talking to sometimes don't know how to speak to you. They speak to you in a very demeaning manner. They speak to you in a very rude manner that makes you feel less of a person. No one should be able to, no one, I repeat, no one should make any woman, any lady feel less of herself, make her feel horrible. You should not give a man that much power to come into your life and speak to you in any manner. And before that relationship ends, you're just in a state of second guessing yourself. You know, you're not seeing yourself as beautiful as you used to. I had gotten to that point. Like, I was in a very toxic relationship, dating relationship for a while. And initially it was good. You know, everything about you is perfect in their eyes. But then once they start getting comfortable, once you start letting them get comfortable by allowing certain things, certain behaviors that are very disrespectful, you allow it the first time, second time, they think it's the norm, right? To the point where I had huge self-esteem issues. Mind you, I'm very slim and slender, right? So there were times where he knew like that was one of my insecurities, and he would literally be using that against me, like say, "Oh, girl, you lost mad weight. Girl, I see your bones, your collarbones. You know, just those little things." And for women, when it comes to our bodies, we can be very sensitive. So it's those little things that you definitely have to look out for. But when situations like that arise, like let's say if a man is commenting about your physical body and stuff, and then I get in a point, you know what I'm saying? Some men are just, I don't understand. Men sometimes can be quite insensitive. But in situations like that, it's okay for you, for us to let them know like that's not appropriate without us getting overly like, without you popping off on them like, I'm not going to give you that power. But it's so important for us to be able to build that self-confidence that even when someone does say something rude like that to you, you can let them know, I am comfortable in my skin. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's out of a joke, but we have to be able to decipher that. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that is continuous, it's not a joke. Joke is something that's funny. If nobody's laughing, it's not, if joke is stuff no more. No is such a powerful tool that I feel like some women, many of us women, don't use as often as we should. In the office place, let's say you have this really jerky person that feels it's okay for him to just walk past you and touch your hips, you know, touch you inappropriately while they're giving you a compliment. And it's like, bro, we're not there yet. You understand? That's one. Number two, we'll never be there because you're not my man, you're not my husband. Therefore, you have no right to put your ashy hands on me. But these are things where we get so uncomfortable. I've been there, sis. Trust me. I've been there before. Like, when you're in that situation where a man fills you up and, you know, touches you in an inappropriate way, but you don't really know what to say. So you just like literally freeze in the moment. It happened to me when I was about, was 10 years old. I went over to my cousin's house, and there was this jerk that lived like 2 doors down from her place. Mind you, like I said, I was 10 years old, and this man was at least 35. And we went to his house, and we're just sitting down talking because they're like neighborhood friends. He knows my cousin's parents and stuff like that. And he also had a little kid who we all used to play with. The little kid was a boy. Never mind all of that. And there was a time where I went over his house, and he said, come over. He's like, come sit next to me. I was like, cool, because my cousins were all sitting on the couch. But he singled me out and asked me to come and sit next to him on the couch. So I stupidly, and sometimes it's not fair if I'm speaking to that 10-year-old girl, I would apologize for even using that word stupidly because I was very much naive. And I went and I sat and I walked over to him. But when I walked over to him, instead of me sitting down on a couch, he said, come and sit on my lap. And guys, when I sat on this man's lap, it was the most uncomfortable, one of the most uncomfortable situations I've ever been in my life. This 35-year-old man was literally filling up on a 10-year-old girl, and it was so awkward. Like, I was literally holding the hands of my cousin and pinching her because I was uncomfortable. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to say stop. I didn't know how to say you're making me feel uncomfortable. And sometimes we are going to be in that situation, but and I think that, and I'm making this so like broad, But for those of you who have young daughters, young nieces and nephews and cousins, it's so important for us to be able to have conversations like that with them, that it's okay for you to say no. Whenever anyone makes you feel uncomfortable, let them know, uncle, auntie, whoever you are, you're making me feel uncomfortable. And teach young women about their body parts. These are certain body parts that a man should never touch. Even whoever the person is, your father can sometimes be an exception, but even at that, if it's not, you know what I mean, these are certain body parts where if you feel somebody is touching you and it is making you feel uncomfortable, say it. And if you're so afraid, this is you talking to the little girl, if you're so afraid to let that person know right there and then in that moment, when you get home, feel free to talk to mommy about it. You know, let these little kids know that it's okay for them to have conversations like that. Because I know that for many of us who are Africans, these topics can be awkward for us. What is that? And some we can just be over dramatic over it to the point where we're not even taking the time out to be sensitive to what that little girl is going through. And it's just, are you stupid? You mad at him touching you like that? You didn't say, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it can be very, very tough, even as an adult. You have been in that situation before. If you're over the age of 18, where it's happened to you at your workplace, where it's happened to you maybe on the bus, you're on the bus, and some jerk comes over, he touches you in some manner, and then he's trying to compliment you. You know, and sometimes it can be tough for us. But I'm saying that the word no is a powerful tool that we have as women, and sometimes we have to be able to use that to our advantage. Amen. Like I'm preaching, amen. Really, Beyonce? And so I'm gonna go in with my True Complexion Contour palette. I like to use this as my eyeshadow, really weird. That's the eyeshadow. And as the interview kept going on with that, but when situations like that arise, then you can let them know. I have a right to say no. I have a right to stand for for what I believe in. You're making me feel uncomfortable, and I don't like it. And if you feel like I'm too aggressive, then you have the liberty. You are at liberty to exit, leave my sight, move away from me. So a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with one of my pastors years ago, and this is something that he used to say all the time. He used to quote it, and all the ladies at the church know this quote. And pretty much what he used to tell us, the quote that he used to say was, "Do not accommodate what you cannot tolerate." Do not accommodate what you cannot tolerate. These are things that we have to be able to keep in mind. Whatever relationship, you're starting a new friendship, female to female, male to male, platonic, romantic, mommy, daddy, do not accommodate what you cannot tolerate. If you know that in the long run, this way that they're behaving towards you, talking to you in a demeaning manner, or you have someone in your life who's financially abusing you, you have someone who's taking advantage of your weakness, they're seeing your weakness as a weakness, whatever the situation may be, if you know that you're not going to be able to accommodate it in a long run, years from now, with that husband, with that boyfriend now that you're dating, if you know that this behavior, you're not going to be able to take it 2, 5, 10 years down the line, do not tolerate it at the early stage. Right there in the early stages, that's where you begin to say, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That behavior is not in early relationships. Like, let's say you started talking to a guy. Like, one of my pet peeves, and I know I'm horrible at it, but I feel like many times they're giving me a dose of my own medicine. Like, I'm not a phone person like that. If I'm on my phone, I am literally on my phone for a purpose. I'm on my phone to promote my business. I'm on my phone to send out emails. I'm on my phone to check emails. I'm on my phone. It's always business, 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 or my YouTube channel. Like, to say I'm just idly on the phone to say, oh, what's going on in this person's life? What's going on in Keisha's life? What's going on in Chukwuemeka's life? I don't really care to know what's going on in their life. I really don't. That's the honest truth. So whenever you see me on the phone, I'm not idly on the phone. But say, hypothetically, you're dating a person who is horrible at communication. And you thought you was horrible until you met this person. I feel like that's what's going on with your girl. I thought I was bad with communication, but I have met my match. And what do you do in that situation? What do you do? again, teaching people how to treat you. If you know that you're a person, like I took, okay, have you ever heard of this test? There's this your love language. So there's this quiz that I took online, and I got to discover my love language. So my top 5 love languages, my primary love language is quality time. My second love language is words of affirmation. So those are my top 2. Okay? Yes. Then my third one is physical touch, and then the fourth one is, what was it? Is it 4? Top 4? I know that the last one was acts of service. No, acts of service, and then the fifth one was giving of gifts. I don't mind you giving me a gift, but I'm not that type of lady that's like, oh, you did give me a gift today. Like, for me, quality time means the most to me. So I like for a man to give me his undivided attention. I like to have conversations. Though it takes me a while to warm up to people. So initially you may be like, this girl is too shy. She's too this, too that. Begin to thank the Lord for those primary moments where you think I'm quiet, where you think I'm too shy. Because the more you get to know me, the more I unfold, the more you see more of my personality, and that I'm outgoing, that I'm talking, that I'm a talkative person, etc., etc. Right? So now in teaching people how to treat you, let's say you meet a guy who's horrible at communication. How then will you teach him how to treat you? Communicate. Say, okay, so we're definitely gonna have to work on this because I cannot be calling you and you calling me 5 days later. I cannot be texting you and you texting me 5 days later, because you can't be that busy. You trying to tell me that when Obama was in presidency, he did have time to text Michelle when Michelle was talking. You know when Michelle needed him? Absolutely not. Even let me even use my papa. Let me not even go that far. Papa Yedipo. You trying to tell me that Papa was? I see him as one of the most busiest people in life, but he says the way that you have time to eat food is the way that I have time to read books. And I know that his wife, his family is much more important, because biblically, when Paul was using the scale how to measure a good bishop or a good man of God, he used marriage as that scale. And he was saying a bishop or pastor or spiritual leader should be a person of one wife. He should be able to be a great leader, a good example to his kids, all of these things. You understand? So I think it's appropriate for you to say, no, it's not okay for you to do that. You know, if you wanna get to know me and you wanna pursue me, make more effort. But if you're in a place in your life right now where you're too busy for me, then that's cool. You know, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's cool. I'd rather you go do your thing, and when you feel like you're free to give me your undivided attention or to get to know me, then we could pick up where we left off. Now I cannot guarantee that when you come back I'll be available. You understand? Yes, I cannot guarantee that, because as women you have to know that you are valuable. You are valuable, and you mean something, and you're gonna be a blessing to somebody. So someone cannot see that now. Trust and believe that someone else will. Amen. So I'm gonna do my wing eyeliner. My wing eyeliner is like almost everything when it comes to my makeup. It's just mirror down here. So have you ever had like awkward moments where you have to say no, but like it's super, super awkward? Like what? I'm getting ready to go to church. Yes, ma'am. I'm supposed to be at church at latest 8:30. So it is 8 o'clock, but I'm about to drive to the bank really quick and then head out to church. But I'm just gonna put powder on the face now. I'm just blending in my concealer so the lines are not too harsh. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put powder on my face. After I put powder on my face, so I already put on my powder. So I'm gonna do my highlight. Ew. You said, baby, can you glow up? Duh, I'm already glowed, boo. Okay. One thing I don't have, I can't find my mascara, and I don't really know how to do lashes. I know how to do lashes, but it takes me forever, and I would have loved to put on eyelashes, but not today, sis. So the weather's, it's a little cold outside. I'm black and white flowers on it with my thigh-high boots, and we're gonna call it a day. I was gonna do some fancy hairstyle, but okay. So this concludes my video, and this is my everyday makeup. This is my beat face. Um, I'll learn more about how to do makeup so I can do the whole glam thing like other women do, but I'm not a makeup artist. But this is how I do my makeup on an everyday basis. I'm about to go to church. And anyway, if you're in the DMV area, Maryland, Virginia, DC, I'm inviting you to come and worship with us at Witness Chapel International, Maryland. Yes, we're in Atlanta, right on Forbes Boulevard. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and remember that you have the power of saying no. It's a tool that you can use without any guilt. All right, I love you, but Jesus loves you more. And until next time, you have an arrival day, queen. Bye. See my wink? My wink is just looking, it's not even a sexy wink. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try that again. It's not working. Bye.